Angela Church area. So Angelo's mom was already involved in it, and my mom got to know her, and the rest is kind of history. There's a family friendship there. So then, where are we going here? Okay, he was elected to council back to Ward 7 finally after second try or something, because he's such a passionate person for this area. And he's advocated for Stop 26, which is very important that he's going to come and speak to us about that, because that's one of his passions. I'm sure he'll let us know more about that after, but just want to say that if I'm allowed, and I think I am, because I'm going to take the opportunity to do so. He was born born in Windsor of immigrant folks, as I said. He's a University of Windsor Bachelor of Arts graduate, traveled to Tokyo, worked there for 8 years as a teacher and as an HR for big industry. And then when he came back to Windsor, he became an entrepreneur and wanted to nurture the creative spirit in Windsor, in town, especially in downtown. Try to keep that livened up, which it's still working on livening up. Lived in Ward 7 for 18 years. His wife, Dana, and she teaches at the Greater Essex Catholic School District School Board. Has 2 grown children, and I'm pleasure to introduce to you Angelo Marignani. That's the correct pronunciation. Welcome. Looking forward to hearing.
First and foremost, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. When I first came here, Bill brought up a concern about Shanfield Shores and the light being repaired. We got a response on that. So the response is that the repairs are scheduled, and they're looking for the physical files of the past Rotary projects that appear to be in storage, and will run those digital files to replace the concerns that we had with the pavilion. So the pavilion at Shanfield Shores is going to be repaired. That's an immediate update. Getting back to the original discussion, the reason I'm here, first and foremost, is to speak of the legacy of the Rotary Club and our waterfront, the Ganatchio Trail, Shanfield Shores, and Sandpoint Beach. As you're well aware of, there's a master plan for Sandpoint Beach that's coming back to council mid-May. And I thought we must, as a council, engage everyone who is part of that development. And Rotary Club is a very big part. So in May, we're going to be having a council meeting, and we're going to be discussing Sandpoint Beach and the master plan for it. The master plan is basically going to improve that gem. It is a gem in the rough. It is a rough stone right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to polish it. This year, there has been monies dedicated to $1.5 million, I believe, and that will include a splash pad and a new playground. But that's only the start. There are other parts of the master plan that need to be completed in order to make it safe for everyone. And the one thing that I really want to stress, I mean, clubs like this, what you do is you socialize, you come together, you share a moment, you share aspirations. These are our public places. Our parks do exactly the same. They're places where people collect, they share moments of their lives, and most of all, they breathe. It's a moment to relax, a moment to reflect, a moment to recharge your batteries. So in today's world where there's a lot of anxiety, I think it's really important that we focus on our public parks. This being the Rotarian month of the environment, I think it falls in place with that theme. So being here, thank you first and foremost for everything that you've done since 1977 with the initial investments, the founding of Sandpoint Beach, the founding of the Ganatchio Trail, as well as Shanfield Shores, which is a big part, or Kayaks Cove, as some people call it. And I'm here just to tell you the intent of the City of Windsor and what we plan to do. But I think just as we acknowledge the Indigenous people of our community, we have to acknowledge the original founders of these features in our city. And the Rotarians, the Rotary Club of St. Clair, is one of those original founders. So out of respect, I'm here to tell you these are our plans. Now, this will be coming to council probably mid-May. And when it comes to council, if a Rotarian were to be there and speak of the legacy of the Rotary Club and these projects, I think that would be very effective in convincing council that this project should move ahead and funds should be put in the capital budget to improve this gem that we all love. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I've got a lot here, but I don't think we want to hear all that. But it's pretty much the stuff that you know. So this is not a new direction. It's a continuation of the Rotarian pledge to our waterfront. And out of respect, I think it's important that everyone involved, the founders, the people who use it, our residents today, are involved in that final decision. And what we're trying to do is make something for the future, for our children tomorrow, so that they can enjoy the beautiful waterfront that we all love. And that's about it. Any questions?
Angelo, when we embarked on a partnership with the city.
Sorry, can you come up so
Sure.
they can hear?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or use the mic?
When we started the partnership with the city with the Shanfield Shores area and Sandpoint Beach, one of the things that we purchased was the totem pole.
Yes.
Is there any decision yet on whether the totem pole will stay in its present place or will it be relocated?
No.
And as well as the concessions have been underutilized for a number of years, will there be an opportunity for perhaps youth employment in the future with the concessions?
Right. And these are all great questions. The totem pole, that beautiful cedar totem pole, is still in very good condition. The only concern that we have with the totem pole is the base. There has been some deterioration on the base that could be easily repaired with a little concrete and rebar. I agree with the concessions. The concessions, maybe we could do some sort of brick and mortar, some small business, and give them a pop-up in the concession area where they can go there once it's complete, and you could have different businesses on a scheduled basis, introducing their products to our community and using it. Currently, it's being used for storage. But you're right. And this is all part of the new build. The totem pole will remain. The totem pole will be repaired. And the concession stands, I believe, would be a nice feature for pop-up businesses to sell during the weekends. Very, very good question. Thank you, Bob. Carlos.
My question kind of revolves close to that, as far as the structure. When you said built bricks and mortar, I know you don't mean it in that exact sense, but the structure that is there, and then the totem pole and all of the concessions that are around, that will then footprint and all that will remain. It's just going to shift swimming to one side and it, like a different look, right?
Exactly.
So could you explain some of that? What the thinking is going forward on that? Will the area be the same, just switched as my impression is, or maybe?
A great question. Okay, so that Sandpoint Beach actually consists of 3 parks. There's Sandpoint Beach, there's Ganatchio Park, and there's Stop 26 Park. So those 3 parks are all together, and everyone calls it Sandpoint Beach. The master plan, what is the final intent or the final design of that area, closes off Sandpoint Beach and puts a break wall in. So Sandpoint Beach will be just like Riem Park. On the other side, on the far east side, where we have the kayak launch currently, that would be extended with a rock revetment, creating an enclosed swimming area. The hydrologist reports show that currents on the west end are around 45 per second, whereas currents on the east end are 0.02. So it's the difference between the plains of Lake St. Clair and the mouth of the Detroit River. And it's unfortunate that now we have to talk to the Port Authority as well, who owns the Monarch building, which, by the way, is one of the only heritage buildings in the East End, in the East Riverside. So we're going to talk to everyone involved, and get everyone together so that everyone can give us their input on the final design. But the final design basically sees a shift of the natural shoreline from the western side where it currently is. We make that almost like a park with a break wall. We put trees in, we put shade, and then we remove the break wall on the eastern side, and we put the sand in there, and we put a rock revetment, which encloses the swimming area, which reduces the currents next to nothing. So that's the overall plan, and to clean up goose poo. We did purchase a new park machine that will go down the trails and finally clean up those little things that get on your shoes that when you get home you have to hose them off. Yes.
Figured that's why they cut your hand.
Well, I was stretching.
Oh,
It's a seventh inning stretch. You know all about that. So I have a quick question.
Yes.
So this is Environmental Month, as has been mentioned,
Yes.
and I'm wondering who we'd be able to maybe talk to or contact in terms of the trees that you were saying might go there, about putting in some native trees and a pollinator garden. Our district of 52 clubs has been challenged this year, and Stuart is our upcoming president, and challenged this year to put in a native garden somewhere in our catchment area.
Right.
And so it would make sense with the Ganatchio Trail right there to design that garden. If we're going to put in some kind of a garden, to make it native plants, and then maybe have a little info sheet. Because one of the initiatives that we're also doing through a multi-district initiative is to try to get more restoration of the riparian zones on our waterways.
Right.
And so this would kind of be like a cool segue in. So how would we go about doing that, or who should I talk to, or who should we kind of appeal to?
Right.
That's my question. I will sit down so I'm out of your way.
No, very good. And that's a great question. I think that's part. Now there's a parcel of land on the western side that belongs to the Port Authority. Okay, and that Port Authority also owns the Monarch building that I spoke of, the heritage building. Monarch building. If we were to plant milkweed in that area, have a mural on the side of the building, they're planning to develop that building. So they're planning to make it mixed use. So there would be apartments as well as their office at the top. But we could incorporate something that follows that theme of, I would love to see milkweed growing in that area. As far as the trees are concerned, Urca would be someone to discuss, but I'm really pressing for, I want that entire western side to be tree covered, so that on hot summer's days, everyone from every social economic status can go and just enjoy that relief from the summer of Lake St. Clair. There's nothing that beats that breeze that comes off there on the summertime. And there's nothing that beats, it's the most Canadian thing you can do is walk into a lake or just wade into lake waters. That's what we do when we go on holiday, like up in Northern Canada. We just walk around and walk the shoreline. So our objective is, I want to see the continuation of the natural shoreline, but then there is the risk involved. So everything has to be weighed. So how can we still have a natural shoreline, but mitigate the risk and the dangers that we've seen? Keep in mind, the tragedies that have occurred are true tragedies. I've spoken to the parents, and it's something that none of us would ever want to see. But the fact of the matter is, they occurred when the beach was closed. They occurred when there was clear signage that said, do not go in this area. Now, keep in mind too, growing up in the 70s, 80s, going to that beach, if we ever went to that area, people would be yelling at us. And there was that sort of community look, hey, kids, don't go there. And it's absolutely true. Think of walking to the end of the wall and suddenly it drops 40 feet. And all the water of the Great Lakes comes down that one channel. At the bottom of that channel, it's filled with rebar, branches. Like it's a danger zone. We have to keep people away from that danger zone. So maybe some educational signage might be incorporated in multiple languages, not just visuals, explaining, educating, the basin, our Great Lakes, and the power of them. Very good question. Yes.
I know that there have been discussions like this over the years. I'm just wondering about timing, because politicians like to talk a lot about plans and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see anything in the imminent future, or what's the timing fruition for this?
Excellent question. And this has been something that I've been pushing for 10 years, advocating for. And it is not in the capital budget, the 10-year capital budget. Hey, what's going on? So this isn't going to happen for another 10 years because it's not even in the capital budget. What gave me hope, a lot of hope, was talking to our member of provincial parliament, who said that there are monies dedicated to parks. And I know that Andrew Dowie, member of provincial parliament, Andrew Dowie, is working on this file. Now, there's also a federal connection as well. Because we're on an international border, there are some monies that are possible from the federal government as well. So last year, I put forward a motion to have everything shovel ready for the grant application. So you have to have your designs, your hydrologist, everything has the engineering report from Landmark Engineering. Everything has to be ready for the application. So come May, our administration will have everything ready. And if we can apply, and we will apply for those grant monies, and we receive it, then we have to match it with our money, which we have in our Parks and Rec Reserve. And then we can actually start the project immediately. So like anything in life, we have a lot of great ideas. We have a lot of great aspirations. Money is usually the thing that stops it. So at this point, we are doing everything possible to get the senior levels of government to contribute to this gem that we have here in the Windsor that was started by the Rotary Club. Very good. Mr. Abati.
Can I add one more thing to that?
Please do.
I wasn't sure if Ilias would have mentioned this, but back when Pesh Isle was looking to be shoveled off by the province to potentially get tenders for development.
That's right.
Rotary stepped in and put money in to actually buy Pesh Isle.
We put forward $1.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, but Chuck Mady outbid us by $1 million. And then the city of Windsor outbid them, I believe, to $1.6 million.
Okay.
But didn't we help more than $1? I thought it was. Anyway, so we're involved in trying to get City of Windsor to procure Pesh Isle to try to tie it in with the whole shoreline and the whole Ganatchio Trail thing. And I wonder if the city has that, as you said, they're going to help fix the pavilion. Great. And this thing going on. That's what we want to see. We want to see a continuation of, like you said, the founding of Rotary to keep that connected in and City of Windsor keep it, maintain it, whatever way, and then however we can help, I don't know, but you never know when communication lines are open, right?
Right.
So I'm
Okay.
wondering if you can-
Just an update on that file, the Pesh Isle file. Landmark is now doing the necessary engineering work to open the lagoons. So what happened there was these lagoons were man-made by Hiram Walker. But over a period of time, sediment deposited, and with the currents, with high levels of the river and low levels, deposited and closed off the main feed to the lagoons. So the lagoons, because of the trees that are around, organic matter falls, the lagoons become shallower and shallower and become wetlands. So it is in this year that we will receive that report. I'm not exactly sure when we will, but that report will detail what is necessary to dredge out, but not only dredge out, but to put some sort of rock barrier which will redirect the sediments from going into the channel to around it, so that we don't have this problem happening again. But Pesh Island, yeah, is an absolute gem. I recommend everyone to go there. The city has a boat that goes there. There's a beach on the North Shore, which you will not even think you're in Canada. It is just that beautiful. It really, really is. And that has to do with the rock revetments that we put on the North Shore, which slowed down the sediment or the flow, which caused the lighter sediment to make this beautiful beach that is now there. Yeah, Pesh Island is an absolute gem. And thank you for bringing that up. But that one will happen. Money has been put aside for that. So we're just, I think we're waiting for IRCA, which is the Essex Region Conservation Authority, to come back with their report on what they can do and how they can help. But there is some funding coming from IRCA on that one as well. But very, very important, Pesh Island. By the way, the most northern point in Essex County. Not too many people know that. Yes.
You spoke about the refurbishment of the one building that is just west of Sandpoint. Is there any plans on moving the sand piles or the gravel piles that are there?
Yeah.
Is that part of the process, or is that something that?
Yeah, I've asked that question. Their intent at this point in time is to remain there. I know we've had a lot of concerns with dust. There are streets, I think it's Sandpoint Crescent and Vanderbilt, that are a bit low lying, and their sewers are completely, they have to be cleaned on a regular basis because of the dust that comes off those piles, goes onto the streets, rain washes, fills it in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I'm just looking at the unsightliness of
there is, yeah, it is unsightly, but at this point in time to that, I haven't heard that they plan on moving from that area. Keep in mind too, once the development of this area is complete, so we still now have the lands that are south of EC Row and Bandwell. There's some projects going on in the city of Tecumseh, the Tecumseh Hamlet. So the land that's opposite of the battery plant right now on Bandwell, that's all going to be developed. So Tecumseh is already starting that development. So that's going to be an entirely new neighborhood there. I think possibly once they finish that development in this area, the need for an immediate aggregate pile to feed that development won't be there. So there might be.
I think the Fry family was running the operation, and
Correct.
I think that they've got gravel piles both there and in the west end,
That's
and
right.
they're feeding the whole city. So it comes in by boat. It's off the offload. So I wasn't sure whether there'd be another location where they could go where there's a deep water port area where they could offload. But that's something that maybe long term the city should look into.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, there you would just have to dredge that channel, which is known as the Pesh Island Channel, gets dredged every year. So in that channel, if you notice, if you ever go to Sandpoint and you look out, you'll see a beacon on the western point. That's the beginning of the channel. So the channel goes all the way next to the aggregate piles and then all the way back out. So hopefully, but speaking with the Fry family, their intent is to renovate the Monarch building, which in my opinion is a beautiful building. It's heritage. And the other heritage in our area, if anyone ever goes down, I think it's Clover, there's a house that's round, a round house. That house is considered heritage. Yeah, it's a beautiful home. It's just circular. Never seen a home like that before. Excellent. Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, I'd like to say thank you again for the invitation. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this great club. Thank you.